What is going on, YouTube? I am back. Wanted to do this stream here, the last one for this evening, because I think this is a conversation that I would love to see y'all talk about in the comment section and to actually uh, get my thoughts on what I feel about what's currently going on with this coronavirus update. So, President 45, your president, that's what I always say to everybody because I don't really care for this man. That's neither here or there. Says that he has a plan to open up the government by May 1st, saying that he feels like this peak of this coronavirus is over, which we've heard reports after reports, stories after stories, and New York is still having a high death toll. Now New Orleans having a high death toll because of this coronavirus, and now even some of the rural states like Georgia, where I am currently living at, South Carolina, they are starting to get a little rise in this coronavirus situation. So a number of governors said that while they would take President Trump's new guidelines to reopen the state economy under consideration, they were weary of moving too fast in the face of unresolved issues like testing shortages. Now, I'm about to give you what Fossey said in a minute about that. But some Americans are calling for a quick return to businesses as soon as possible. And you even had some march on the state capitol Friday to make their voices heard. And then you had these extremists, which I'm calling them the deniers now, because they feel like now this virus is no longer a threat and it is not that big of a deal. You got 45 retweeting liberate certain states as a call to arms. Okay. So here's what we know about the coronavirus in a timeline of the most critical moments. All right. And everything else. So I'm about to break that down to you of the timeline of the most critical moments of what's been going on with this whole thing. So we know in 2019, in December 31st, that they had dozens of cases of a pneumonia that nobody has never heard of and could pinpoint. Okay, so this is December 31st. Then January 7th, 2020, we identified over there in China that it is a coronavirus. All right, telling you all the symptoms: the dry cough, the fever, the shortness of breath. Then they talked about his first known death was in 2000 and January 11, 2020, 61-year-old man Wuhan. Then after that, January 20th, the World Health Organization situation reports detailed the first confirmed cases outside of China in Thailand. Let's see where else it was at. Yeah, Thailand, Japan, and South Korea. Then on the 21st, January 21st, the United States announced its first confirmed coronavirus, a man in his 30s in Washington State. So this is January the 21st. January the 23rd, China placed the whole city of 11 million people of Wuhan under quarantine orders. And all the flights, the trains departing from the city was canceled. The, the buses, subways, and ferries within the city were suspended. So we quarantined right over there. The WHO, which is the World Health Organization, declared the outbreak a global public health emergency because there was 9,000 cases in that city that were reported worldwide, and there was 18 countries beyond China. January the 31st, the White House announced that it would ban entry from most foreign nationals who had traveled to China within the last 14 days. During that time, 45, y'all president also made a statement that nothing to worry about. It's not that big of a deal. February 1st, the Princess Cruises, which is now being sued, allegedly, by their passengers, that a passenger who sailed aboard the Diamond Princess from Yokohama, Japan on January 20th and disembarked in Hong Kong on January 25th had tested positive for the virus. Okay. Then you got February 2nd. The first coronavirus death reported outside of China was a 44-year-old Wuhan resident who died in the Philippines. February the 4th. Now you got the Diamond Princess cruise ship was quarantined in Yokohama with about 3,700 people, including passengers and crews on board. Then this is iconic. February the 7th. This is the doctor, Li Wanlang, a Chinese doctor that issued a warning about the coronavirus outbreak before it was officially recognized. Now, this is crazy. He issued this, right? They go up here and they take the man away the next day, saying that they needed to test him. Then they say he's got the coronavirus, and then he died the next day. But he became a hero in China. And it sparked not only public mourning, but a lot of people saying that this guy was really trying to expose what was really going on in China, and China was trying to downplay it. Then in February the 8th, the first U.S. citizen died from COVID-19 in Wuhan. And then in February the 9th, the death toll of the mainland China rose to 811 people dying, surpassing the number of fatalities from the SARS outbreak in 2003. Then we got February 11th, when Wuhan announced that the disease caused by the new coronavirus will be known by the official name COVID-19. Then you got Egypt on Valentine's Day, got its first corona case, becoming the first country in Africa to be affected by the outbreak. And then the global death toll passes 1,500, including 3 outside of mainland China. Then on February 14th, again, it's killed someone outside of Asia. The patient was an 80-year-old Chinese tourist who died in France. Then Iran reported its 2 cases on the 19th of February, and both patients died. February 20th, South Korea reported their first coronavirus death as the country number of confirmed cases rose to 104, with the 9th confirmed death from the virus outside of mainland China. February 24th, getting closer to where it's starting to get to us now. Italy become the worst hit country in Europe as the cases spike. Health officials announced the 6th death from the virus. Then February the 24th, the U.S. stock market plummeted over coronavirus fears after Dow Jones Industrial Average experienced the worst day in 2 years. 26th of February, California announced the first case in the U.S. with no clear case of how it got exposed. Brazil confirmed its first case on that same day of the coronavirus, and that was the first in Latin America. On the 28th, Iran reported that they had 34 deaths out of 388 confirmed coronavirus cases, making it the country with the highest number of deaths from the virus outside of China. Then you had Donald Trump here, y'all president, on the 29th, put more restrictions, travel restrictions involving Iran, increased warnings about travel to Italy and South Korea. Then on that same day, we in the U.S. had our first coronavirus death was a man in his 50s in Washington State. Then, March 3rd, patients infected by the coronavirus wait to be transferred from Wuhan number 5 hospital to Leshan Hospital, the newly built hospital for COVID-19 patients in Wuhan. Then March 6th, Trump signed a $8.3 billion emergency spending package to combat the coronavirus outbreak at the number of global cases hit $100,000. I mean, 100,000 uh, cases. Then on March 6th, Austin, Texas canceled its SXSW conference and festivals amid the coronavirus concerns following the cancellation of other high profile events across the country. Then you got March the 6th. President Mike Pence announced that 21 people aboard Grand Princess, a cruise ship being held off the coast of California, tested positive for the coronavirus. 21 people now. Then March 8th, Italy go ahead on and issued a lockdown to quarantine around 16 million people in the country's northern Lombardy region as it confirmed cases surpassed 5,800 and more than 200 people died. From that virus, the areas sealed off include Milan and Venice, which is once again a tourist attraction. Then that's when we started getting the cases where we're at 500 on March the 8th. Then March the 9th, Ireland canceled St. Patrick's Day. March the 10th, the Italy's prime minister announced that the lockdown placed on millions in the Lombardy region will be extended to the entire country to stop this virus. March the 10th, Iran's health officials reported a spike of almost 900 new cases, bringing the country's totals of confirmed cases 8,042, 291 deaths. Then you have the president, the Chinese president, I can't pronounce his name, but I don't call him X, visited Wuhan for the first time since the virus emerged in December. The visit came as people gradually returned to work other parts of China. Then on March the 11th, the WHO, which is the World Health Organization, declared that the coronavirus outbreak characterized as pandemic, which is defined as worldwide spread of a new disease for which most people do not have immunity. So, with that being said, March 11th, that's when we started going in a tailspin. That's when we find out that Utah Jazz player uh, Rudy Gobert had it, and then we find out later the other player, man, what is that young man's name? Donovan Mitchell. He had it. Then after Donovan Mitchell, we started hearing about Tom Hanks had it. This all happened on March 11th, which is crazy. And then that's when Trump announced all his foreign restrictions on 26 countries. And then that's when sports started getting suspended on the 12th. And not only the day that the March the 12th, the sports died, but Italy death toll topped at 1,000. And then that's when we just this is where we arrived. That's when everything went haywire. I could go further on the timeline, but it'll probably take about almost a damn hour. And now here we are today with the president saying he wants to open up the country. And this is where I'm a little wary of, okay, about opening up the country right now. Because we have a lot of these states that are still battling this coronavirus. And because of what's going on, I'm gonna give y'all an idea of what each state is doing. So let's jump into that. So let's see what each state is doing right now. So we can get an idea of why I feel like that we should not close this guy down. We should not open this country back up so soon. So New York, for example, is still ordered residents to stay at home and non-essential businesses to stay closed. Now, governors in Arkansas, Iowa, Nebraska, North Dakota, and South Dakota have resisted issuing statewide stay-at-home orders as of Monday morning. Now, they saying it's not about staying home; it's just about avoiding contact. Oklahoma, Utah, and Wyoming has partial stay-at-home orders. Now, here's my thing. I don't feel like that it should be a good idea to open this country up because, for one, they keep saying that they're gonna have all the testing available, but look how hard it's been for these workers that works in the medical field to have the proper testing to try to take care of these people. They've been running out of bed space. I mean, look at New York situation. Who imagine working as a health worker in New York and you got patients dying and you work in the morgue and you got to put them on the floor. Like you don't have no space to put them in a cooler or to keep them properly taken care of. You know, look at the situation that's going on in Daughtry County in the state of Georgia. This is Albany, Georgia. It's so bad over there at one time that they were running out of bed space. I mean, people, these doctors and nurses have to make life and death decisions to see who's going to live or who's going to die. And you don't have proper PPE for them. You got a lot of them also catching the coronavirus, getting sick. You got them also dying. I mean, this is asinine to open up the country right now. I mean, we still got high level spikes. Look at today. Today we had the highest number of deaths again in the US from this coronavirus. It's like, to me, what I'm getting the gist of is Trump is trying to play politician, get votes, but make sure it don't look like I caused anything. Basically, the throw a rock and hide behind it. He do the tweet of we need to reopen America. He does all that, then he gets in front of everybody as usual and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm gonna leave it up to the governors. But here's my plan. But I'm gonna leave it up to y'all." And these governors that are not that bright, that usually are Republican, are on this whole, well, let's open up the country. We need these people back to work and jobs and everything. Well, guess what y'all doing? Y'all making it worse because you don't have this thing under control. You don't have the right vaccine yet. You just found a vaccine, but you got to go through the FDA to get it approved, to push it through. That could take months. What's going to happen? I tell you what's going to happen. We're going to go right back to another scary pandemic. People running out of bed, hospital beds, schools and stuff got to be shut down. Businesses got to be shut down, and we're going right back to square one. And then you got the U.S. to be crying about they got to sign another damn package to get the economy back together. It's not going to work. And then let's talk about while all of this is going on. If you haven't noticed, that the Trump administration have not even tried to save the postal service that needs $75 billion for them to continue to work properly for the rest of the year. Their thing is we're worried about the pandemic right now, which, yeah, we see how good they've been doing on that line. That's either here or there. I tell you why, to me personally, I don't think they're not worried about the mailing system. Is because due to the fact of the matter, the Republicans already did not like the fact of people doing mail-in votes due to the fact that there could be a chance that nobody can congregate more than 10 people due to this pandemic. So you know how they is. They feel like they got a better chance with it being, you know what I'm saying, getting voted by going up here and I can put this, I want to say it the right way. Get a chance of him getting voted in by him going ahead on and you know what I'm saying, have the polls open up. But see, the bad thing about that is, even if you open up the polls, how you gonna control it being less than 10 people at one time trying to get in? He knows this. He knows that there's gonna be some screw up and some votes. 9 out of 10, they're gonna make sure that it's gonna go their way. So it's a sad situation. It's a sad situation all across the board. So personally, what I feel like that we should do is we should have took Dr. Fauci's advice and we should just wait until the bell curve starts to dip down and flatten. And then we can go from there and say, okay, this is where we're at statistically. This is what we need to do now to phase things in. This is just too soon. And then what even disturbing, because I'm on the front lines, I work as a retail person that does this, I see a lot of people don't wear no PPE with their children running around with no gloves, no PPE. Then they do it all the time. And then they don't understand how much they put themselves at risk. And if you haven't seen the video of the COVID-19 test, it is the most disturbing, uncomfortable test you can ever think of in your life. Think about, the flu test where they just put it up your nostril in general and then they go back down, right? Not this. This thing has to go all the way back to your nasal area almost. This thing goes far back. This long tube in your nose. And then they turn it slowly. And it has to be in there for like 15 seconds almost. 15 seconds is a long time. If you sit there and time 15 seconds, that's a pretty long time to have something like that up your nose. And then they slowly pull it out and then put it in the culture. Now they say they got a saliva test, but like I said, all these new tests that they coming up with, they got to get approved. And then there's situations where people are on the bandwagon of trying to get money because of this coronavirus. They making their own tests, and they ain't even FDA approved. So you got people going out here doing that. So it's like this is a very disturbing time to open up the country. Now I understand that everybody looking at, well, we got people that need bills to pay, we got unemployment, budget that could be ran through, and everything else. But guys, listen, all that stuff doesn't matter anyway because you're still gonna have that same problem if you go up here and open it up too soon. I mean, this is just asinine to me. I just feel like purposely the government just does not, the administration just don't care about us. They really don't. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I've been pretty much right so far. They don't because if they cared about the American people like they said they would. This trying to hurry up and open up a country is not the smart thing to do. You see all these other countries that close their countries down for damn near 60 days. They didn't do it for just 30. They did it for 60 plus days. Hell, China still somewhat ain't all the way open up because they still worried that there's going to be a second wave. I just don't think it's a good idea. And if it's left up to these governors, I hope the governors that got common sense and know their area and how it's like highly messed up right now with this coronavirus, use their brain and don't open their state up right now. Hope they wait till the bell curve till that curve goes down. And that's another thing he's not looking at. Because even if you open up certain part of the countries that can be able to you, as you say, don't have the high coronavirus risk, there's a lot of industry that we get from those bigger states and bigger cities. So if they ain't able to get that industry because of that restriction that state has, guess what? You're still going to run into bumps and delays. Doesn't make any sense. I just need y'all to talk to me in the comments. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that this is a really good idea to open up the country right about now when we have not really put our finger on having an actual normal, big, well-known city in the U.S. that has actually slowed down? I mean, is it a good idea, especially when our children right now can't even return back to school for the rest of the year, when there's so much restrictions going on in these major cities, in smaller cities, that people can't even enjoy everyday life? I don't know. I'm telling you, I feel like this is more political based than it is public health wise. And I'm just telling you like I see it. Like again, tell me what you think in the comments. If you like my stuff, follow me on J News and Views on Twitter. Also follow me on I Fuck with Joel on Instagram. And hey man, if you can, donate to the channel. It's $ Joshua Joel Davis. It don't have to be a lot, man. Any little bit that you donate, we appreciate it. It's going right back into me giving you great content. Thank y'all for your time. Y'all stay easy.